pressure you. He's going to get into your face, and he's going to take you down.
And when he gets on top, he is vicious, he is cruel, he punishes his opponent.
That's it!
Huge elbows! Curtis! Razor blade!
That is crazy. And because he wrestles so well, now you have to worry about his striking.
Oh!
1-2, and Dos Santos is wobbled.
Dos Santos is hurt.
Curtis Blaydes edges.
This kid is getting better every time he steps in the octagon.
I've won 4 in a row, and after I beat Derek Lewis, I'll have the respect I deserve. You beat the guy that makes the most noise, now you got the noise behind you. I want that title shot. You know I'm next. I've shown I got the wrestling. I showed you I got the hands. I don't know what else I gotta do. I'm next. It's my turn. It's my turn.
What makes me dangerous is the power that I have in my hand and my will to win. I don't care who's my opponent. I believe I have the tools to put away any man.
It's plain and simple. He is in there to knock your head off.
Oh! There it is! Full count out!
I'm coming in one of the best shapes of my career. A lot quicker, more agile.
Oh!
Big right. Olenek is down.
Oh, that's it.
The Black Beast does it again. He is alone at the top of the mountain. Most UFC knockouts for a heavyweight.
It's my time now to really prove to these guys that it's not going to be easy whenever they see my name on that paper.
The Black Beast! Yet again!
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
What's up, guys? This is going to be a betting breakdown for UFC Fight Night, Lewis versus Blaydes. It's coming up later today. I'm also going to be doing a quick review as well as tips and strategy all in one. I've had to put it off the last couple weeks. I was sick last week. Not 100% yet, but definitely better now. And just don't want to put it off anymore. So I'll put it all in the one video. I haven't done this before. So I'm going to talk about the bets. I'll do what I normally do at the end of the video, and I'll pull those up. I do think there's some good tips in here. I haven't really planned it out, but what I wanted to talk about, I had somebody a couple weeks ago ask me how I break down my bets. And when I start the quarter, so I do like to do quarterly cash outs. I'll start out, so I have 1,500 in 3 accounts. Sometimes I'll leave 2,000 in one and make it $5,000 even. But, this quarter I started out with 1,500, and I like to do quarterly cash outs. You don't want to be doing deposits, obviously, unless your account gets limited and you have to go to another site or another bookie, whatever it may be. So the way I like to do things, like I said, I have 3 different sites, and that's basically to get a different look on odds, right? Specifically with the props, you'll see a lot of fluctuation on some of the sites. You can get some better odds. Most times the lines, the fight lines anyway, money line, is pretty close, but even then sometimes you can see a decent difference on a couple of these sites. So what I'll do is, obviously look for the best line, and at the start of the quarter I'm looking to get back 1 unit per bet. The reason that I do this is it'll make it so that you're not digging yourself into a big hole. And when I do this review of the cards that we've had so far this year, I'll quickly go through it and then give you guys an idea, of why I do it that way, so that even if you do have a bad start to the year, you're not digging yourself into a big hole. If I go down, 5 units, so $500, I'm really disappointed in myself, right? And you can structure your bets so that you can really minimize going into any major losses. Part of that is wagering the amount that I need to get back what I want, right? So in this case, being 1 unit, like I said, per bet is what I'm looking to get back. If you have a big underdog, say 3.0 or plus 200, you only have to put down half a unit, $50, to get back that unit, right? So if you got a couple confident dogs on a card, those both hit, you really only put out $100, right? And if they hit, you've made your profit. But if they lose, you're only down 1 unit, right? So that's part of the reason that I do that. Also, a lot of the bets that I do are close to even money. My main strategy is to target the lines that are off, so there are a lot of dogs involved with that. I like to, have an advantage on the bookie or target the lines that I feel that they've made a mistake on. But outside of that, I do like even money, especially when it comes to the doubles. I don't do 3 and 4 leg parlays. I don't, once I put a fighter in a parlay, I don't use them 5, 6, 7 times. There's certain things that if you're looking to be profitable long term, that you just don't do, or that you shouldn't do anyway, right? There's times where you can kind of break the rules, and when you're really confident and things like that. But sticking to a strategy, it does help. And I've been doing it now consistently, like almost every card, for about 6 years. So when I started out, and I've said this before, I'd have a really good week one week, or I'd go on, a decent streak, and then I'd go on a losing streak, and it would just float around even. So, I wasn't really making much progress. So I started looking at professional gamblers. I read a book, and not just, professionals for MMA, every sport, and kind of the tactics that they use. And, I started to tweaked it a bit, and, made it my own for MMA. So when I start the quarter, like I said, looking to get back that 1 unit. Once I get up to, say, 500 in profit, it's okay to up that a little bit. But at that point, I'm only looking to use profit, right? So when I'm starting out, only looking to get back, the small amount of profit, it's just until I have enough where I can bet with that profit and compound the interest. That's really, the main part of my strategy is just compound interest, using the profit to make profit. So first card of the year was Holloway and Condit. So this one wasn't really that bad. I did mention on this video that the more confident bets were going to be on the first page. Of course, Ponzinibbio lost, and even Felipe, that was a bit of a robbery, but Condit hit and Holloway hit. So, started out there. That's 2 units profit. Lost a unit here on the Felipe Ponzinibbio parlay because this was close to even money. So that was a loss of 1 of those units profit. And then also there was some over-unders on that card, and I'll pull that up as well. So we had Todorovic lost on that card. So that took away the profit from that. And then Felipe and the Holloway Qatar over 1.5 hit, so that put it back up. But then the Ponzinibbio Lingo Kilburn brought it down. So this was basically an even card. No real progress. I'm not really mad at those, but I'm always disappointed when there's a card like that. So that's how I started out the year. Wasn't really impressed by that. And then we moved on to Magny and Chiesa. Chiesa looked really good, got the job done. Modafferi was a really big dog in that fight, and I thought the line was off. So these two lost, right? Now Madergi and Villanueva and Moreira inside the distance hit. So, that did take away from, of course, from the losses on that fight. And then I had Lerone Murphy, Ricky Simone. Those both came through, as well as the over on the Nurmagomedov and Morozov fight. I don't think Akhmedov and Breeze came through on the 1.5, and Davis and Jones did go the distance. So again, not a card that I was happy with. Not a huge loss, right? Because again, I'm only betting to get that unit back, so these aren't big bets. But 2 cards in a row there, not happy, right? This is, I think, one of the worst cards, that I've had since I've started the channel. Impressive performance by Poirier. I did think that McGregor looked good in the first round. I thought that that's how the fight was going to play out, how the first round looked. But once his legs started getting kicked, he was doing a good job of hiding it in that second round, but, he was done. So really good by Poirier. And Roundtree, terrible performance. I mean, if you look at the fight that he put on against Eric Anders, I mean, completely different guy. I was really surprised by how bad he looked in that fight. Zalgas lost. Now, Marina Rodriguez, she was a huge dog, and she came through. And then Antonio Carlos Jr. didn't. So 1 and 3 on this card. Definitely not what I was looking for, but all the over-unders, I believe, came through on that one. I think Ribas and Rodriguez just scraped the over 1.5. I could be wrong on that, but the other ones all came through. So, I mean, as far as the over-unders go, those are hitting at about 80%, if not more. I think only a couple have missed since the beginning of the year. But, of course, that's not good enough. I want the straight bets and the parlays to be coming through as well. So then we had this card, right? Now this is where it becomes a losing streak and where, I'm looking to turn things around at this point. I mean, of course, I'm always looking to turn things around after cards that I'm not impressed with. The first two of the year just kind of hit and miss, a few winners and a few losers. But then these two cards, just really not impressed at all and really disappointed. I mean, Jerome Rivera just got blasted out of there. When you bet on fights like that, I mean, he was a huge dog, and that's why I did it. I thought the line was off because he has, fought the better competition. Osborne got put away real quick in his first fight, and, you didn't have to put much down to get that unit. But when fighters take a loss like that, you're never happy to see that. Frankie Edgar, another line that I thought was off, he gets flying knee blasted. So this is one of those cards where, those ones will hurt. Volkov saved the day, from it being a disaster. But overall, just really unhappy with this one. The over-unders, again, came through, other than Frankie Edgar on the over 1.5. So those last two cards, so 2 out of the 4, I think there might have been 5 total. This was a winning card here. So, but out of those first 4 cards previous to last week, 2 of them were, clear losing cards. And I think it was a total at the end of that. There was, between all of the cards, it was 5 units down, right? Now, the only reason that it wasn't as much as it could have been is because some of those are really big dogs. And like I said, you only have to put down a small amount. And that's a big reason behind why I do things the way I do. Because starting out the quarter, when I'm looking to get that profit rolling so that I can use it to make my bets, the other side of that is you can eat into capital, right? The money that you're using. You don't want to eat into that. The money that you want to be using to bet ultimately is profit. So when I'm starting out, if I start losing, I don't want it to be getting into a big hole, right? Of course, the bets can up a little bit once you're using the profits that you'd have accumulated. But the whole reasoning, and that's why I'm repeating this, why I do things the way I do at the beginning and not getting greedy, looking to get back big amounts, is just to, is almost like insurance to know that if you do have a rough run, and I definitely don't intend on that, that's not what the plan is. But when it comes to betting MMA, if you do it long term, eventually you are going to have a losing streak. It's just how it goes. You hope it never happens, but it will. So I just play it safe at the beginning. And if you have maybe, let's say you have 5 bets on a card, if you sweep it, which is, a really good night and it is pretty rare, you'll have the 5 units right away profit to start betting with, and you can kind of up it a little bit. So that was just something I wanted to talk about in this video. I wanted to go over the cards, that we've had this year. And then, of course, last week, I came back. We had Usman and Bilal as a parlay, and Alexa Grasso. Ian Heinich is a big dog, so not a big loss there, right? Didn't have to put down a whole lot. And then all the over-unders came through. So this was a good night. And if I have another good night this week, the losses that, I had earlier on in the year, I'll be out of that and looking to turn it around again. Hopefully during this card, I'll recover the last couple units that I'm down and then be able to turn it around and even have a profit for this card. So looking into next week, I'll be looking to build, right? I'm not going to be upping the bet yet. I'll still be looking to get back that 1 unit up until I have about 5 or 6 profit, and then I'll change it a little bit. And when I do that, I'll let you guys know how much. But right now, as far as the bets that I place, you guys can easily, check it out, how much I have to put down to get back that unit, right? You only have to look at the odds and you'll know how much I'm betting. But we'll get into it now. I'm just going to talk about the bets for this card. So let me just pull this up real quick. So the lines that are off, first, real quick, I have a bet on Shayna Dobson. This was one of the only ones that really stood out. I mean, other than Derek Lewis now, I think that line's way off. I also think that Curtis Blaydes has a huge advantage as far as the grappling goes and, a pretty decent cardio advantage. But something tells me, when it comes to Derek Lewis, you can never, have him as that big of a dog because he has that type of power in his hands. And you know, he doesn't have the best takedown defense, and a lot of that's based off of, you know, that DC fight. He made it look too easy. So he has improved a lot. His sprawling has got a lot better. As good as Blaydes is, and, you know, if he does get him in a compromising position, gets him on his back a few times, it is possible that he dominates. But at the same time, for the price that he's at this point, there's no value at all. So that line is off, even though I do like Blaydes to win. I wouldn't even put him in a parlay at this point. So Shayna Dobson, on the other hand, though, she's fighting a girl that's coming in making her debut. Hasn't really fought the highest level competition. She is a good fighter, in my opinion. I did watch some tape. She's talented. But Shayna Dobson's been in the UFC. She's fought those high-level girls. She got that huge upset over Agapova in her last fight. She got beat by Cachoeira. I mean, that was a pretty devastating loss. But I think that, you know, she has shown some improvement. I think she's going to be really hungry for this fight with the UFC, putting her in a fight against a girl that they're probably looking at for the win here. So I do think that it's a decent bet for Shayna Dobson. So I did put in a bet on her. I think she still should be plus money. I mean, it was, I think it was plus 130 a couple days ago. It was at plus 150 when I put the bet down. But I might have even gone back up because I know that some money did come in as well on Casey O'Neill. So that's the first bet there. And all I had to put down, I think it was like between 65 and 70. I think it was like 68 or something like that to get back the unit. So, you know, good bet there. And I think even now at this point, it's only 75 to get back the unit. The next bet that I have, I put down a bet on Julian Erosa. You know, I just think he's had that experience. He's a guy that he's had some questionable fights, but he's really talented. Like, he's a good fighter, a little bit chinny, but his win over Sean Woodson was really impressive. He has a ton of experience, and, you know, I think he can beat Nate Landwehr. Landwehr's a tough guy as well. Fought a lot of tough Russian fighters. He lost to Herbert Burns, which, you know, no shame in that. And he beat Darren Elkins. So I think this is going to be a good fight, but I favor Julian Erosa to win that one. What else do we got here? So there's also some parlay options on this card. So Tom Aspinall, Ketlin Vieira, and the fight does not go the distance for the main event. That's another parlay option as well. Another bet, Nasruddin Imavov. The only issue I have there is he was rocked in one of the fights that I watched early in the first round. He won the fight, but he was rocked early on. Also, Draco Rodriguez. So again, just to go over those because I did talk about a few of them. So Draco Rodriguez, Tom Aspinall, Ketlin Vieira. The main event doesn't go the distance. And I mean, Spivak is a little bit risky. So I'm going to pull up the bets now just so everybody can see them laid out. I haven't put them together on paper yet, or haven't put the graphic together yet. So that's why I talked about it a bit more. And as far as the rest of the winners go for the card, I'm actually interested to see if Austin Gowan's in the comments this week, you know, how Derek Minner's looking for this camp. You know, if you put a bet down on him. I was going to talk about that fight, but I think that one's really close. I had a hard time deciding who to go with. I will put all the winners in the description and how I expect them to win. I didn't want to, you know, do the full breakdown this week just because I was doing the review, as well as a little bit of a tips video. So just another quick rundown for anybody, you know, who skipped the bets. If you're interested, I'm just looking to get back a unit at the beginning of the quarter, just to save myself, you know, if there is a bad run or, you know, a bad event to start out, not too big of a hole. At the end of each quarter, anything over the 1,500 that I have in each of those accounts, I cash out, right? You know, some people ask, you know, why don't you continue to build up your account? The reason, you know, that I don't is I'm happy with $100 units. I'm happy with where I'm at. And to be honest, you know, no matter how much I had, because anything can happen in MMA, I'm not looking to put in those huge bets, right? If I can come out, on a good quarter with 5K at the end of that 3 months, I'm happy with that. I don't feel like I need to keep that in there along with the initial deposit, and keep going upward and putting in crazy bets, because you can lose really quick. I like to just stick to the routine that I've been doing for a while now. And if that ever fails, maybe I'll have to tweak something, but if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? So hopefully that helps some people out, along with, just to reiterate, the big dogs, plus 200, 3.0, you only have to put down $50 to get back the unit. So sometimes putting down the amount you need just to get back that one is the way to go, right? You don't always have to bet 2 or 3 units because, you want to make crazy money on the underdog. Not getting greedy is a big thing, right? So just be disciplined with it. That will help you huge. Doing big 3-4 leg parlays, or repeating the same fighter over and over, right? So you put him in one parlay, then you put him in a second, third, fourth. If he loses, everything's going to crash, right? So just be careful. There's a lot of parlay killers out there every week. Hopefully you guys can use some of these tips to turn it into money. And good luck with your bets this week. Let me know who you have. I'll get back to the same layout for the next one. I just wanted to get this done because I had been delaying it. I wasn't feeling well last week. So I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.